Hello, what's up everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and we went 2-0 last night, so I had Rogue Warriors over E-Star. Rogue Warriors were minus 144 favorites, and Team World Elite were minus 244. A lot of people were on Billy Gaming, which is not surprising to me. I think most of the public sentiment around Billy Gaming has been positive since Meteor came back, and that's kind of what I expected. But there's been a lot of criticism about Team World Elite because they are seemingly one-dimensional. But when you're very good at that one dimension and you're playing against a team that is not better than you, then you should be fine. So I don't have any issue picking against Team World Elite in other matchups. Like I picked LGD over them, but I'm not going to pick a bunch of random middle-tier teams over them. So got to disagree with a bunch of people out there who were like hypercritical of World Elite in their match today, because the goal of these teams is to win the match, not to look good while doing it. So like it might negatively impact how I view them against a good team, but I don't think Billy Gaming is a good team yet. I think they're okay. So the matches tomorrow, we have Top Esports against Dominus and JDG against LNG. I'm not going to waste any time talking about those matches. If one of those teams upsets Top Esports or JDG, I will not be on it. So you'll have to go find the reasoning from somebody else. But tomorrow we have matches in Korea. So let's take a look at the two matches. DRX against KT Rolster and Team Dynamics against Gen G. So we have a lot of big favorites tomorrow. I mean, KT Rolster did just beat DRX, and I think that will have some people going back to them. I think it's more likely that DRX just turns on the heat and destroys them. But it's going to take a little bit of research into the last matches to see why they had a chance. I think when we went over it, that was the day that Smeb was a support, so I don't even think they're going to try that again. Maybe they'll play those champions again, but it was a lot about just good team fighting and snowballing. So I mean, it's tough to get too excited about KT Rolster. They can win the same way they won last time, but it is still very unlikely. That number would be much higher if KT Rolster didn't already beat DRX. Gen G against Team Dynamics. Team Dynamics, a lot of people were pretty high on them in the beginning. They wanted them to be good, I think. So you know, I didn't really see it. I know that Rich has been playing pretty well in some of his matchups, and then Deocdom is interesting, but Kuzan, Guger, and their jungler, they're just not beyond, right? They're just not the kinds of players that I get excited about playing. So if they hit, I will not be on them either. It's just not. That's just not how I approach DraftKings right now. So let's take a look at the matches. Oh wait, stop. It was right there. Let's just go back. We'll get the sound turned off. So this is already in the middle of the first match. There were also a decent amount of people on E-Star as well, I think, last night, which was kind of weird. So right now at this point, E-Star is up 4,000 gold. 4,000 gold is a position you should be able to convert from. So if Rogue Warriors is able to pull out this game, that is a benefit for them, but it's also kind of just a bad sign for E-Star. E-Star ran out a different mid laner, which was interesting. Not sure why they did that coming off of a victory. But on Rogue Warriors, we have Graves was locked in with the first pick for Haro. Obviously, Rogue Warriors is a jungle-first team, so I think that was very smart on their part. They also picked up Nautilus and Varus, I think, in 2-3 in the draft. And then 4-5, they went with Orianna and Ornn. So Ornn and Nautilus are a pretty good front line. Nautilus is a better peeler than Ornn. Ornn's more of like a damage soaker and engage champion. like physically getting into the middle of the team fight, because that way when he's taking ambient damage, his tank stats are going to be able to deal with that. But like I said, he's not really a peeler in the same way. He is more of a diver and an initiator. Let's skip ahead. This game got pretty out of control pretty fast. Yeah, so let's move back a little bit. May have overshot it a little. So we're going to have a dragon fight. Everybody's favorite, the classic dragon fight. So let's slow it down. Slow down. Just like in Billy Madison. Slow down. Alright, so let's just, you know, go over the fundamentals. So right now, Rogue Warriors are controlling this choke point, this choke point, this choke point. Haro's already on the dragon, so we have 5 players in better position than E-Star. That means that E-Star is going to have to walk in to Rogue Warriors. So what kind of tools do E-Star have to get from here all the way into the dragon pit? Some would say none, but those people would be wrong. So let's go through it one by one. So Mordekaiser will be able to theoretically get into the dragon pit and use his ultimate to take Graves off of the dragon. That could set up a good steal for E-Star. Not the easiest thing to do though. It like getting past all of these other players from Rogue Warriors is not going to be simple. Kindred's not going to be able to really do this on her own. If anything, Kindred can come in from this direction and try to hop over the wall to get a steal. So that's looking like an okay option right now, is just avoiding the river and going in through the side. Galio is fine. Galio can ult into the fight from basically anywhere, or he can try to land a taunt onto the group of Rogue Warriors, so that it kind of creates a disjointed team fight where E-Star would be attacking on several different fronts. So like if Kindred and Mordekaiser were coming from this direction, Galio comes in from this direction, tries to get a couple of taunts off. Leona has her long range engage, and she can dive in without the fear of dying, really, because Callista is going to be able to rip her back. But let's clear that, and then we can talk about Rogue Warriors. So Rogue Warriors, how do you stop them from coming on? Never mind. How do you stop them from walking into the river? So you know they're going to come from here, here, or here. Haro's already on the dragon, like I said before. So Nautilus and Ornn, mostly Ornn and Varus, really. Actually, I mean, Rogue Warriors have a great team composition to defend a position. So Ornn is going to be able to Ornn ultimate from any 3 of those shoots. It's going to be a big AoE knockup if he lands that ability. It's also going to do some damage, but we're not really too worried about the damage component of it, because the other 3 members, the 3 damage carries on Rogue Warriors, have more than enough damage to win a team fight. And also keep in mind, they're down 4,000 gold right now. So getting into position first and playing to their strengths eliminates a lot of the gold advantage that E-Star has, because it's going to be difficult for their team to get into position, like to break the position basically. So Rogue Warriors has position. Orianna can control choke points with her ultimate. Varus can kind of disengage or engage with his ultimate as well. So yeah, I think E-Star has a pretty great position right now, and this is why drafting is so important, because if you draft correctly, you will be able to defend positions like this and also attack positions like this. So if the roles were flipped, Mordekaiser would be able to rip away the opposing jungler. Kindred can always stop a dragon with her ultimate, which is pretty good. Galio can always follow up and engage. Callista can kind of throw in the Leona or allow Leona to go in and rip her out. So I think both team compositions are actually pretty good when they're winning and losing in this scenario. If Ornn had to get onto the dragon, he'd be able to use his long-range ultimate. Graves can always dash over a wall or use his ultimate to try to steal, which is unlikely to work. Orianna, it's a little bit more difficult for Orianna to be impactful in a team fight where she's walking towards the enemy as opposed to having the enemy walk towards her. It's more of like her ultimate's better used in like picks and front-to-back team fights where both teams are on even footing, roughly even footing. Varus, if he's walking in, he can just try to pick off one of the players with his ultimate and continuously shoot out arrows for poke damage. And then Nautilus has all of his engaged tools. So let's just play this out in slow-mo, and we'll see how it goes. So Rogue Warriors continues to kill the dragon. And they secure the dragon pretty easily. So now Rogue Warriors is running away, obviously. And instead of the 3 different options, now E-Star has 1 direct avenue to get into the other team. So Rogue Warriors is going to continue to run away. This is the Ornn ultimate we always focus on. Leona whiffs her ultimate. Right now it's basically 5-on-2. Orianna moves forward and gets a kill onto the Callista. So that's a positioning error by Rat, but it's also just good team fighting by Rogue Warriors. They understand what their win condition is. It's eliminate most of the damage. So Kindred does some damage, but it's more difficult for her to get into a fight. The Callista is the primary target, and Rogue Warriors does a good job killing the primary target. They do almost have a couple of kills returned, but they're able to kite out the rest of that fight, and this is transitioned immediately into a Baron. So not only are Rogue Warriors good at making decisions, they're good at following through on their shot calls, and they're good at making risky plays when losing. So those are a lot of things that we want to see from teams. I could have swore they went to Baron after that. So now they start the Baron dance. Now they're only down 2,000 gold. They have a 1 dragon advantage, which isn't very significant. Graves is ahead, which means when your jungler is ahead, you're always looking for chances at either taking the Baron yourself or stealing the Baron because you have the smite advantage. So the 2 things that are going to happen this game, Rogue Warriors will either stall out and wait for that next dragon fight, or they're going to try to force a Baron. They probably don't feel like they're losing at this point in the game, even though they are from a gold perspective. So again, Rogue Warriors has takes initiative and has tempo, so they're able to start up Baron. It is a risky play, but when you're Rogue Warriors, what do you have to lose? The chances of you making playoffs is very low. You might as well make these risky plays, try to execute perfectly, and it's going to increase your win percentage. The chances of you winning, in my opinion. So Rogue Warriors does a great job here. The fact that they were able to eliminate Baron before the other team even responded is very good. It means it was a great call. It's not results-oriented thinking. It's just it was a good call. It's undeniable. And a lot of people are afraid of making those kinds of calls because they don't want to look stupid. But if you're Rogue Warriors, I mean, you've looked stupid so many times. What's the big deal? Haro does a very good job in this fight. So if you take a look at Haro right now, he was engaged on by the Galio, but Graves is fed currently and is able to take out the Kindred. So Haro doesn't panic right there and try to escape. Haro just says, you know what, screw it, I'm going for the fight, and is able to pump out a lot of damage. So let me go back to the items real quick. That's basically all I wanted to see from this game. Alright, so Haro doesn't have a lifesteal item yet, but it seemed like he was regenning a decent amount of health. Alright, so game 2, we have Haro on Lee Sin, which is always something we like to see. He had a very good match on Lee Sin last time. E-Star jumps out to another early lead, so that's a 1.8k gold lead. E-Star is making aggressive plays. Irma can apparently play Zoe, but everyone else can play Zoe as well, so what's the big deal? Everyone but me, of course. I cannot play Zoe yet. It will happen, but not yet. So Rogue Warriors are a resilient team. They have another gold deficit to deal with. We have Zwuji against Rat on Aphelios. Alright, let's go. So, okay. Interesting. So, okay, so right now, Rogue Warriors is playing a split composition. They have Camille, who is going to be stronger in the side lane than Poppy, and we have Twisted Fate, who's going to be able to use his ultimate to create pressure on the other side of the map. So, Lei gets caught out, but Rogue Warriors was already prepared to split push. So now we have two champions. Let me get rid of my portrait. We already have two champions on the top tower. If you look down, well, now they switched the screen. So this is basically Rogue Warrior saying, listen, if we have that death and we get a tower and potentially an inhibitor, then it could be worth it. So I think it's a pretty good play. Like, it's a good response to a mistake that was made, and the only reason that's possible is because of their team composition. One other thing that they could have done right here is once Karma dies, you just back off, let your split pushers split push, and then have the Lee Sin and the Twisted Fate and the Ashe run towards the Dragon. So right now, I think that Rogue Warriors should be focused on pushing Dragon, pushing mid lane, and then taking Dragon or mid, depending on what's available. If I was E-Star, I think that I would probably need to consider Baron, because you have a tempo disadvantage. So you were late on the top call, even though you got a pick in the mid lane, and it looks like that's the play that we're going to see happen right now. Okay, so they anticipated Rogue Warriors going for Dragon and mid lane as well. So E-Star is on the Baron. E-Star should be able to do this. Haro and Rek'Sai are both level 11. Lee Sin has an execute on his Q though, so you do have to be careful in this spot that Lee Sin doesn't get the kill. This looks like a split call to me. I don't know for sure, but it looks like E-Star is between finishing the Baron and turning to fight, and I think it's almost always better. Oh my god, he stole it. Of course he did. So that's what I was talking about. If you already know you're going to be in a 50-50 and you opted in this play call already, you just need to burn the Baron. They took so much extra damage. They took so much extra damage there. So after this, those mid towers are going to fall. Let's see if E-Star can force Soul Point. Yes, so E-Star gets Soul Point. So obviously that's not a position that you want to be in if you are Rogue Warriors, but now that you have Baron buff, you're going to be able to equalize the towers. You will be able to equalize the towers on the map. That's going to even out any positional advantage, and then it's going to allow you to create a positional advantage with your split pushers. So they've got to be very happy right now. They're looking to make some plays. They've got champions on both sides of the map. Twisted Fate gets picked off, which is less than ideal. It's 11-5. At this point, I know that E-Star has the 3 dragons and is up in kills and gold, but Rogue Warriors is going to outscale them. Maybe not actually. I guess it is just they're just completely different play styles. Where one is more of a pick composition with Zoe, and also a like a long range engage team. So like Bard can engage with his ultimate. Aphelios can follow up on that engage pretty easily. Zoe can put somebody to sleep and then follow up on that as well. So Rogue Warriors really wants to create a bunch of chaos on the map. That's going to be their easiest way to win this game. Oh wow, what a stupid mistake. Why does this even happen? So we have Dragon's up in 1 minute. Rek'Sai goes top lane to push out a wave. This is because they're afraid of Camille taking the inhibitor or creating pressure on the inhibitor during the dragon fight, but instead Wei goes top and dies. So that, does he get out? No, he dies. Okay. So Wei is dead. This means that Rogue Warriors will most likely be able to pick up the next dragon, because on spawn, Rogue Warriors will have 5 teammates there, and E-Star will have 4. So the call here should be to burn it because they don't have a smite. Bard does have ultimate. See, that's a mistake right there. I think Bard should have ulted the dragon earlier to kind of stall out the fight. So it's still 4v4 at this point, but Camille is coming in and she's going to arrive first. So this is pretty risky from E-Star. And they get the flank onto the Aphelios. Camille does not have her ultimate. So Aphelios goes down. So yeah, E-Star threw this game pretty hard at that Baron. And it's not just that they went for a Baron. I think it's fine to go for a Baron in a risky spot, obviously, like I just said, with Rogue Warriors. But the problem is that they did not commit to the call the same way that Rogue Warriors did. So I guess that's really the primary difference in this game between the two Baron decisions, is that one team was like, let's go for it, burn it, burn it, burn it. They kill it. The other team says, oh no, they're here. Lee Sin can steal. Oh no, oh no. You need to just go for it. If you, like, there's basically 3 scenarios there. First one is you burn it and you take it and you feel good. Second one, you burn it and Lee Sin steals it, you feel bad. Third, I guess there's 4. Third is you turn the fight and you win the team fight and then you back off on a Baron, you feel good. And then the last one is turn, lose the fight, lose Baron, and you feel really bad. So in like 3 of those scenarios, I think that going for the Baron is better. Or 2 of those scenarios, it's definitely better to go Baron. The first one and the last one. So, yeah, I just think it was a couple of not stupid mistakes. They're reasonable mistakes, and they're things that we see often from teams. So it's difficult to be too critical, but I know that their coaches are going to be upset with them for not trying to finish off the Baron. And also, they might even be upset that they even started the Baron, because you are playing Zoe. You can look for a pick to create a Baron opportunity, so it wasn't even necessary for them to go for it. So next up, we have Billy Gaming against Team World Elite. We have a Varus versus a Felios game. So actually, let's go to the draft. Let's go to draft and let's talk about Team World Elite, because we had a bunch of haters last night on Team World Elite. So I'm going to try to go through the things that I like and don't like about their draft, as well as Billy Gaming. So I guess before we do that, we should talk about the matchups. So Morgan against Kingen, I think Morgan's a better player. Beishang against Meteor, I think Beishang and Meteor are pretty close, but I would give a slight edge to Beishang. Teacher Ma and Fofo, I think, are basically even. I like Teacher Ma's champion pool more on this patch, and I know that it is kind of like a the one play style that he does really well in, but he does it really well. And then Zhao Meng against Wings, I think Zhao Meng is better. Missing against Shinmo, pretty even, but I think Missing is a little bit better. And the combination of Zhao Meng plus Missing is better than Wings and Shinmo. So first pick, we have Graves. Graves is still one of the best champions, in my opinion. I know that he has some like pretty bad win rate. He has a pretty bad win rate right now, I think, in like Korea. But I think it has something to do with the teams that are picking it. I'd have to look closer at that, but basically, from a theory standpoint, I think that Graves is one of the 3 best champions in League of Legends right now in terms of power level and ease of execution for professional teams. I think Aphelios is right up there. I think Graves is up there, and then I guess the rest of it's up for debate. Zoe's probably up there. Zoe's been out of control recently. I think she's very strong. Alright, so we've got Graves first, then we get a response with Aphelios and Twisted Fate. I think that's okay, but Twisted Fate against most of Teacher Ma's champion pool, it's not going to be able to punish it very hard. They did ban out the Galio, so that's pretty good. But then they banned out Set and Renekton. I'm not sure about that. So World Elite picks the Ornn. Morgan plays a lot of Ornn. It's a very good champion for him. They picked up the Karma, which is a good champion that you can flex. Looks like Teacher Ma's going on that. So yeah, when you lock in the Twisted Fate, you kind of do just let Teacher Ma get one of the 4 champions that he plays, or 5 champions that he plays. Then in the bot lane, we had Varus go all the way to the 4th pick, which is pretty good. We have Thresh, so we do have some aggression in the bot lane. There are going to be multiple ways to get onto the Aphelios. I do think that World Elite may have made a mistake by not picking the Bard. I think when Bard is up and the other team picks Aphelios, I think you need to instant lock Bard. I think Bard is really the champion that kind of unlocks counterplay to Aphelios right now. So Billy Gaming, okay, alright. Billy Gaming is dominating in game 1. The Ornn has died 3 times, and Aphelios has gotten ahead. So if you're Team World Elite and you are intending on being able to deal with Aphelios through your team composition alone, then you didn't take into consideration like the randomness that happens in these games. So let's see, where does he get those kills? I'm gonna guess around a dragon. Yep, there we go. All right, so this is the last play we're gonna look at from this game. Come on now. All right, here we go. So first, let's consider the position. So right now, Billy Gaming is up 2,000 gold. They're down 2 dragons, but they do have the positional advantage. Actually, no, they don't. So Aphelios is in a bad spot because he's still in the mid lane. We have 3 players from Billy Gaming on the bot side of the map, so they're completely disconnected. This is a big mistake that a lot of teams make. We make it every once in a while as well on Yale, where you have the AD carry disconnected from the rest of the team. It makes it very difficult to play the game because now when the AD carry walks towards the enemy, walks towards the objective, the enemy will most likely be able to get onto the Aphelios first, which is going to require Aphelios to use ultimates, to use summoner spells, which is not good. So right here, Wings was pretty fortunate that the blast cone was up because he was able to get in that way. The Aphelios ult misses. The Kale ultimate hits basically no one. Ornn, coming out of the Bard ultimate, Ornn gets locked down by Twisted Fate. And then Kale, Aphelios, and Twisted Fate are doing a decent amount of damage. I'm assuming that Subjugate also went onto the Ornn, which made Ornn a little bit less tanky. So BLG is able to get the... They're able to get the dragon, and they're able to pick up a kill onto Aphelios. So at that point, they're up 3,000 gold. And this is one of the reasons why teams give up the first 2 dragons, is because they feel like they can fight the third one pretty easily. So, yeah. Billy Gaming, one game one. So let's look at Game 2's draft. The Bard is banned out. I think this is a pretty suspect draft from Team World Elite if you're leaving open Aphelios and then banning Bard. Billy Gaming should have picked Aphelios first, in my opinion. World Elite gets the Aphelios. Jiaomeng has done very well on Aphelios because Aphelios is a broken champion. They lock in Karma, which is a good flex pick. Nidalee is a good champion. Ashe is thought of as an Aphelios counter, but as I've said in the past, I don't think that is true. There is counterplay there are different counterplay opportunities for Ashe, but the better side is still the Aphelios, and we see that in the win rate. I think when they go head to head, Ashe's win rate is under 50%, I think, on 10-14, and Aphelios is over 50%. I think it's like 55% across the major regions. Volibear is locked in. Volibear is another good flex champion, a little overrated, but still a good champion overall. Wukong is locked in, and Morgan has a counter pick opportunity with the Hecarim. And that's because the Conqueror stacks are going to... The Conqueror stacks on Hecarim's on Hecarim's Q will be activated twice if he hits the decoy and Wukong. So I think that BLG obviously placed a gigantic priority on Twisted Fate, which... I mean, it makes sense. Like, if you're playing against a team that uses a lot of global ultimates, this is a way to respond. But the one thing that World Elite does a lot is they're not necessarily using their global ultimates to gank side lanes. They're using global ultimates to set up good dragon fights. Like specifically Galio. Like, you don't need to gank as Galio. You just need to create gigantic threat zones around objectives and help protect your AD carry. So let's see. I did not watch this game live, but based off of the commentary on Twitter, I think I know how this one goes. Ooh, bad ultimate by Wings there. So let's back it up a little bit more. So again, let's take into consideration the positioning first. Let me get rid of my camera. Right now we have World Elite has 4 champions that are prepared for the fight. Hecarim has his TP and is also able to use flanking wards down here or from the mid lane, but it looks like Hecarim is just going to run into the fight. World Elite is the team that starts the engage first. Jiaomeng is looking to get off a decent amount of damage. Chunks out Wukong, chunks out the Tahm Kench, and Hecarim is able to run into the back line. So this allows them to take out the Wukong. Ashe and Wukong were both feared, which allowed this to be even more effective. Beishang is about half health right now, so it will not be easy to secure a dragon, but it is when the Aphelios wipes out the Ashe. And this is this was a great this was a great job by the Ashe, who totally counters Aphelios and didn't get basically one shot from half a lane away. That was a great job by the Ashe. So when, like, that's what I don't get about the fascination with Ashe right now, is like, when Aphelios can do stuff like that, wouldn't you rather just not have the Aphelios in the game? Like, it feels so bad when you're under your tower and you go from half health to 0 health because Aphelios landed one thing. It just feels horrible. It's so tilting. Like, because you feel like that impending doom feeling. That you're just, like, screwed. If he does anything in the entire game, you just feel screwed. It's like, oh, Aphelios got 1 kill, now we're all gonna die. It's very very unfun to play against. So World Elite is up 2 dragons. This will make it more important for them to fight around the 3rd dragon and get a good position around the 3rd dragon. I mean, I guess one way to look at it is it also creates a way for World Elite to win the game through positioning. So if they're in position on the next dragon first, it's going to require Bilibili Gaming to use ultimates and potentially summoner spells to break their position and create an even team fight, as opposed to a team fight from a lost position. So Bilibili Gaming was trying to get onto World Elite there. They were not able to accomplish that. We're 2 minutes away from a dragon. So let's just speed ahead. Nothing should happen in these next 2 minutes, because if you're World Elite, you don't want to increase the variance. You want to be able to have everyone with all of their summoners, all of their ultimates at this next fight, because this is going to be basically not the game deciding fight, but it will determine how the next dragon fight goes, or how it should go. So we have Team World Elite pushing up a little bit. Karma and Wukong are both top lane. Hecarim is in the bot lane. Volibear is backing off onto nothing, which is kind of strange. World Elite is protecting their mid tower. So every time a mid wave crashes, they are there to pick it up, which is pretty good. And I mean, I think that is pretty obvious at this point. Like, just look at the vision control and the map control that Team World Elite has right now. So even though Wukong is pushing in top lane, World Elite is still posturing very confidently around the dragon, saying, like, you can try to kill us right now if you want, but we have a teleport, you have a teleport, we're not really afraid of you at this point, because we know that we have an Aphelios and you don't. I would say it is a little bit concerning that Karma isn't there, because if the only way that Bilibili Gaming can really win this team fight, well, the easiest way for them to win the team fight is for them to catch out the Aphelios, and Karma is going to help Aphelios remain safe, even more safe. Like, Thresh can do it as well, but you really want the Karma there for the gigantic shields. So Team World Elite starts up the dragon, and just look at the positioning. This is very passive from Bilibili Gaming. So if you're Bilibili Gaming, you have to know that this is what's going to happen in this game. You know that World Elite is going to start the dragon. They have 2 dragons already. Why would they not start the dragon? If this turns into a 50-50, then, like, worst case scenario is they lost a dragon. Like, big deal. It's like, okay, so if they lose the dragon, they still have chances to win the game. If they take the dragon, their win percentage goes from, like, 50-50 to what? Like 65-70, and it's all because they're going to be able to pressure around that next dragon fight as well. So it just makes the game much more difficult for Bilibili Gaming to play. So if you take a look at their champions, Wukong is in the mid lane, Ashe is in the jungle, Nidalee is in the jungle, Tahm Kench is in the jungle, and Twisted Fate is in the jungle. So let's look at their engage opportunities to break up the positioning, or like to flip the positioning advantage that World Elite has. So I see a ward right here. Wukong could theoretically teleport to this ward and try to get an engage onto the backline. He's already in the mid lane, but this would give Wukong a slight speed boost and also the blast plant opportunity. So right here, Thresh can get you here, Thresh can get you here, Thresh can get you here. So maybe look for that flanking opportunity, but that would require the rest of Bilibili Gaming to come in through the bottom river. Ashe can always send in her ultimate to stun somebody as well. So if you're going to coordinate it with the Wukong, you can shoot Ashe arrow basically onto the dragon at any point, and whoever it hits, that's the first person you're going to try to spin on as Wukong to create a CC chain. But I don't think they go for that. Also, we have the Twisted Fate ultimate. So Twisted Fate should be ulting right now to get vision on the enemy team, so that they know exactly where everybody is. That's going to make it much easier for them to pick a target and fight. So maybe even do that before Ashe ults, and you'll be able to try to pick off the Aphelios. And then Tom Kench doesn't really give any good engage opportunities. So that is one of the concerns with picking Tom Kench into Aphelios, is if they're able to create this this strong position around the dragon, how are you going to break it open? So Volibear secures the dragon. We do not have a team fight. If I'm World Elite, I would just go to Baron and do the exact same thing. It's like you guys showed, you've shown that you are not able to make that aggressive play and break our position, so why are we going to be afraid of you? Ooh, missing with the pixel perfect hook, just barely catching Twisted Fate. Alright, so Aphelios is doing Aphelios things. Just pumping out a lot of damage. Wukong does a really good job here, actually. I'm surprised that he lived so long. Jiao Meng right there was attack moving instead of right-clicking onto the enemies, which is why he attacked a minion there. So like that could have theoretically been a big mistake, but it didn't cost them anything. So World Elite gets 2 kills and the dragon. They lose Ornn, or not Ornn, they lose Hecarim, but the tower doesn't fall. So the next 2 plays are going to be World Elite standing around Baron or World Elite standing around Dragon. And we've already gone through the different engage opportunities that BLG is going to have. So it's just a much more difficult composition to play than World Elite, because World Elite, if they're in a quote-unquote bad position, they have the Volibear who can like jump in and create chaos. They have Thresh who can look for a hook. They have Hecarim who can use his AoE ultimate. So a lot of good opportunities, options for Team World Elite. Whoops. So World Elite is feeling very strong right now, and I think that it's correct because they have Volibear, so if somebody steps too far forward to defend this tower, Volibear could always just turn off the tower. World Elite may have gone a little bit too far ahead, and this is why BLG is being a little bit more aggressive. They were trying to punish the overstep mid lane, but they were not able to accomplish anything. Aphelios is 3-0-1. The chances of Ashe catching up to Aphelios in this game feels very low. Ooh. Wow. So they actually did have chances here. So Thresh gets caught out somehow. Is it an Ashe arrow? Oh, it's Twisted Fate. Why was he even bot lane? What caused him to get disconnected from the team? Oh, trying to get wards down. So Thresh dies. World Elite is not prepared to give away this dragon for free, which I think is smart, because they do have a strong core team composition. Karma and the Aphelios and the Volibear should be able to defend themselves pretty well. So Wukong right now is looking for an engage onto multiple teammates, or onto multiple enemies, and accomplishes that pretty well. So three champions get knocked up. Volibear has to ult out, which is never good. Hecarim's got to ult. Yeah, there you go. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. So look at this. Look at this. This is Aphelios. This is why you ban the Aphelios. Like, okay. It's five members of Billy Gaming. Let's for the impaired out there, let's throw a 5 on the screen. So there are 5 champions over here, and then we look at World Elite. They have 3.5 teammates left because Volibear is about half health. So we'll just say 3.5, right? Now, what is the mistake that Billy Gaming has made? Well, it's the same mistake that World Elite just made. So World Elite was all clumped up here, and then Wukong was able to engage and force them to back off. But now Billy Gaming is walking through the same choke point instead of just taking the dragon. Like, if you take dragon, you create another 5 to 6 minutes where you can kind of try to scale up a little bit, which isn't necessarily the best thing. Like, it doesn't mean you're going to win the match, but yeah, that might just be results-oriented thinking. I guess Billy Gaming is looking to pick off a few more members of World Elite, send one player to Dragon, take the Dragon, and the rest of the team to Baron to take Baron, which is not a horrible call. But just look at how this plays out. I mean, this is Aphelios to a T. Hecarim teleported in, but Hecarim didn't use his ultimate, so you have to be very careful if you are Billy Gaming right now. So we have 4 members right on top of each other, including the Ash. So the Twisted Fate is the only one who is not going to be hit by this ultimate, I think. So if you look at the ghosts, let me try to pause it right when it happens. Oh my god. Ash dies instantly. So 4 players were hit by that ultimate, right? So you see the ghost right there. That means that they're feared. Aphelios landed a 4-man ultimate, and Aphelios is just a ridiculous champion. Look at how much damage Aphelios did. Ash was at 100% health. Ash was at 100% health, okay? Aphelios landed 1 auto attack, which might have even been a hurricane bullet. 1 auto attack, an ultimate. Hecarim landed an ultimate and probably landed a Q. Watch wings right here. Oh. This is right here. This is what we're looking at. Watch that disappear. Boom. That is less than 1 second, right? It's instantaneous. Boom. 65% health in under a second. And that I know it's not just Aphelios there, but that kind of play is impossible if you don't have the Aphelios. If anything, like maybe you have a Misfortune, and Misfortune gets off a really good ultimate and can shred an entire team. But Aphelios, all he has to do is click a button. 1 button, as opposed to a channeled spell. I mean, this is why you cannot let Aphelios go over to a team that has shown that they can play Aphelios well. And now they have Infernal, they pick up the Baron. There's no way that they should lose this game. I'm assuming that it's just they just close out fast. Yeah. Yep, so they go Dragon Baron. Dragon Baron close out the game. They didn't close it out with the Baron, but still. Man. Team's got to stop with the Aphelios. So they finally banned the Aphelios. Bard was banned by World Elite once again. This is a good team composition by World Elite. They have Volibear, Lee Sin, Galio, which is one of Teachermon's best champions. They have the Ash, and they have Nautilus. Jhin is like a response to Ash for some reason. Like, Jhin gets hard outscaled by Ash. I really don't understand the fascination with that champion right now. I do love the Gnar pick, because I love Gnar. Nidalee is a good champion. I can't complain about Nidalee. Twisted Fate is a meta champion, so Billy Gaming at this point is probably thinking to themselves, let's see how it goes in order. And I'll try to explain the reasoning behind some of these picks. Alright, so World Elite first picks the Ashe. So they think Ashe is the strongest AD carry left at this point. Once Aphelios is taken out of the champion pool, BLG responds with Twisted Fate and Meteor. So Twisted Fate must be their one of their highest priority champions. They've played it in all 3 games, I think, right? Nidalee, very good champion. I'm completely fine with Nidalee being taken here. So Nidalee plus Twisted Fate is pretty good. Twisted Fate can use his W to stun somebody, the gold card, and then Nidalee comes in and uses the follow-up in the mid lane. I'd be surprised if they actually did that, but that's, I think, the theory behind it. Teachermon locks in Galio, arguably his best champion. Then we get a flex pick for Morgan and Beishang, which is always great. You do want to lock in a flex pick whenever you can. Galio is also technically a flex pick, can go mid or support, but is almost certainly going to Teachermon in the mid lane. Leona is a strong support, especially against an immobile champion like Ashe. But going into the Galio, like, you are going to get taunted at some point, which isn't the biggest deal, but not ideal. Then they pick the Jhin with their 4th champion, and I hate this draft at this point from Billy Gaming. I think Jhin is nowhere near as good as he is. Jhin is not as good. Jin's power level does not justify how often it's being played in professional right now. Maybe there's something crazy going on in their scrims, but I just don't get it. So we basically have BLG's team composition has 1.5 tanks. Like Gnar will be able to engage team fights if he controls his rage well, but it's not easy. And you will spend a lot of that team fight as mini Gnar, which isn't actually a big deal nowadays. Okay, so Team Worldly gets a couple of kills in the bot lane. Let's see if this game is even close. Nope. 1.5k, 2 dragons, 6-0, 2.2k. This game looks like a stomp. 3 dragons, 4 dragons, and Baron. All right, that's basically it. I'm not going to spend any more time on this one. Billy Gaming did have chances to win this series. They should have won the first 2. They should have been able to win the first 2 games. Or I guess they needed to win that second game if they wanted to have a chance. Game 3, Worldly gets Galio. They're going to win that one. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the analysis. As always, check out Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, Discord, etc. The Patreon link is in the description below. $10 a month, you get access to my picks and a pretty lively chat at this point. I will be making a golf video and an NBA video today, so watch out for those. Otherwise, I will talk to you tomorrow.